I appreciate you guys being with us this month. Man, we've got some really exciting stuff. Chuck is going to show off 2 of his newest builds, Screamin Vultures Kustoms. We're going to kind of introduce him today. Oh, you don't know who they are? Well, the truth of the matter is this, is Chuck's not a full-time employee here. He actually owns his own shop. And we team up and build motorcycles together. And then Chastin is here doing some pinstriping on the Charger. The Army Sergeant that we built the big Bel Air for and the Studebaker truck, well, guess what? She wrecked her daily driver. We've got it done, and Chastin's going to do some pinstriping on it. Got a little bit of trivia for you, motorcycle trivia this time, and then we'll go back in the shop and take a look and see what the guys are doing. We've got a basic paint job in the shop, something we hardly ever get to do, but we've just got a run-of-the-mill, just a basic OEM type paint job. So that's kind of neat to take a look at something like that. How about we go back to the shop and check it out, and then we'll get with Chuck and Chastin. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Somebody left over from the ride last.
Somebody's salsa.
Oh.
We're going to get a little bit of this Mustang as we go by. The 64.5 Mustang has come a long way since last month, and in fact, I think this month we're going to move that car towards the paint booth. If you remember last month, it was all yellow, the bodywork wasn't completely done. Today the bodywork is done. We've actually got it sitting outside. I've got a theory on when bodywork is completed on a car, I like to let it shrink up if at all possible. If it's going to shrink, it will do it sitting out in the cold. It'll go back in the shop, it'll be in the heat. So right now, today, this car is sitting out in the cold. A couple days from now, we'll put it back in the shop. It'll be in the heated shop. We'll go to wet sanding and blocking it, and this car is ready to paint. The 64.5 Mustang has come a long way since last month. Remember, last month the bodywork wasn't even completed. Today the bodywork is done. We've got it sitting outside in the cold, maybe doing some shrinking. Next couple of days we'll wet sand that car and it'll go to paint. I met with the owner yesterday, and the story behind that car is amazing. We'll talk more about it maybe next month as we get ready to deliver that car. Met with the owner yesterday. He was tickled to death. In fact, he was tickled to death to see his car on TV. So that car has come a long way since last month. But his father was telling me yesterday how he drove that car brand new. He said it shouldn't go back yellow. He'd like to see it red, but it's going back to OEM, the factory color, the way it should be. It's going back sunrise yellow, which is a nice color. We'll go on in the shop and check out what the guys are doing. Man, we've got a lot going on in the shop. I mean a lot. We're busier now than ever before. We've got a TR6 that's ready to paint. Of course, we've got the Bel Air drag car. It is ready to paint. Omar is working on a C10. That truck is a collector truck. It's a valuable truck, and it was in a collision. The right way was to replace the entire bed. This is a cool situation that I want to share with you guys. This C10 don't leave. What? All right, this C10's a special situation. Now, the C10 was in a collision. It is a collector vehicle. and it had collector insurance on it. And that's a whole different ball of wax when you're dealing with making repairs and fixing a collector vehicle collision as compared to a late model vehicle. A 5-year-old truck, if you have to replace the bed, they're probably going to total that truck out. But not on a collector vehicle. And tracking down the parts to put it back together the right way, not with Chinese stamped parts, but with good American iron. And that's the way that truck should be put back together. We'll have that truck about probably another month, a month and a half, so you guys will get to see that truck again. After the truck was in the accident, he decided that we might as well just paint the whole truck. It has to have a whole new bed, we might as well just paint the whole truck. So that's what Omar's working on. Now the truck David's working on is this. Is a late model repaint. All it is this. The truck wasn't in an accident, it only needed refreshening. So what we're trying to do on this truck is just put it back the way it was from the factory. That truck, believe it or not, even though it's a late model truck, it has a story behind it. The guy we're painting that truck for inherited it from his father. His father passed away, that was his father's truck. He basically wants to make it look the way it did when his father bought it new. David was sanding it with 400. Just basically put it back the way it was. Go back factory color, go back factory fit and finish. Now it's not a collector vehicle. It's not a very expensive vehicle. We're going to paint that truck and have it out of here within a 2-week period, which is fast for us. We don't get in a big hurry to do anything. We want it right. Although we can do that truck right, we can turn it around in 2 weeks, make it look the way it did new. All in all, it should be a pretty nice truck. Now, whereas the C10 collision will be here about a month, this truck will only be here about 2 weeks, so you'll never see this truck again unless you catch it going down the road. In the grand scheme of things, that truck is very important to the guy that owns it. That was his father's truck. That was the last truck his father drove, so it's cool. And it's cool to put it back the way it was supposed to be. What do you think, David? You think we'll make it in 2 weeks on that truck?
Yeah, it's a nice little truck, a couple little dings. Other than that, it's pretty good shape.
Would you drive it?
Oh yeah.
Take Mama out to eat dinner in it?
I take the Chevy signs off of it. But
most people see my shop as a hardcore American iron hot rod shop. But the few lucky people that seek us out with their German and British cars, like the VW we did some time ago, now we've got a TR6. This little TR6 is a one-owner car. The guy's had it since it was new, and he's chosen us to freshen it up. Now the car doesn't need a restoration. It just needs a high-end paint job and some interior work, and I'm really proud to have it. In the past, we have worked on British cars. We're very capable of doing it. But in this neck of the woods, this part of Georgia, you just don't see many of these cars. And this little 74 TR6 is something else. Mr. Sanders bought that car new, and he's always had that car. And he retired. He retired just a few months ago, and he says, hey, I want to redo my car. And he sought us out, found us through social media, I believe. Watched the TV show a couple of times. He's already read my book. And he chose us to do his car. And his main thing is this: I just want it the way it's supposed to be. I want it right. And you know what, we can do that. We can put it back together the way it's supposed to be. Back in the day, this was a little race car overseas, a little British race car, so it's kind of cool. Kind of cool to have it in the shop. And actually, the guys have already got it ready to paint. I'm just waiting for the right day, the right warm weather to put the paint to it. A lot of folks think all British cars, the steering wheel's on the wrong side. But if it was built to be shipped to the States, it's got the steering wheel on the right side. If it was built to be kept overseas, it'll have the steering wheel on the other side. And you know, it's funny that when you order parts, and we sat down last night and ordered the whole interior package for this car, one of the questions was, is it right side drive or left side drive? And you answer that question, and then things like the dash panels that we're replacing come into play when you go ordering parts. And the driver's seat and the passenger seat's different. So, all in all, it's a really cool car. So Chuck built and we painted Misfits bike. It's the black 750 bobber that he built. We did a lot of paint work on that. Chastin did a bunch of striping on it. Chuck is kind of going off in his own direction. He's starting his own shop, getting it rolling, which is a great thing. And we'll continue to do his paint work forever. And he'll continue to build our frames forever. But just fine craftsmanship. And I don't team up with many people. The people I team up with, they've got to be just as passionate as I am, or I'm not going to do it. He also built the Cafe Racer, the Generation Gap bike, the red Honda.
These are two different genres of bike, but they're kind of in the same family. You take a bobber, and that's an American thing. You take the Cafe Racer, that's kind of the British answer to the bobber, where they were running from the cafes. They'd drop a dime in the jukebox, run to the roundabout, and first one back with the music still playing won.
Now the paint job on that was different. I've never been asked to do this. If you take a look at that bike, the tail section is brand new, fabricated, but the tank is the old paint job. I had to age the tail section to match the paint job on the tank. Then I sat and cleared both those parts so that they match. So you actually, looking at the bike, it's a brand new bike, a brand new build, but you think the tank and tail section, take a look at it, you think that bike's been built 20 years. And it's not, it's a fresh build. That was just the flavor of the guy that owns the bike. That's what he wanted.
This bike is kind of special to me because it's a build for my cousin. And we've been calling this bike the Generation Gap Cafe, because it kind of bridges it bridges a couple generations. I've got pictures of his wife sitting on this bike when she was a baby. She's probably about 1 or 2 years old. So he can look at, his kids will be able to look at it and say, well, that's Mama sitting on the bike. This #2 on this bike, our grandfather raced jalopies and modifieds and stuff like that back in the day up north, and he was #2, so it kind of ties both families together through one bike. And,
now, the #2 on the Generation Gap bike was a number that's important to Chuck's family and the family owner of the bike, as that was his grandfather's number when he raced cars, and that's a second generation bike. So it all kind of played in that the guy the bike was built for got that bike from his father-in-law, and his wife was on that bike as an infant. So it's a second generation bike. It ties in the whole theme of the generations, the #2. So there's a lot of heritage behind that bike for Chuck, and it was an important build for him.
But that's a cool bike to me. We kind of joke that that's the family #2, because my dad run it when he raced, and my granddad run it when he raced. So yeah, that's the family number. So it's a generational thing, and you know, that's kind of what motorsports and bikes and stuff like that, they can bring people together over generations. And you know, families grow up around this kind of stuff, and if you're a biker or a hot rodder, the two things are so closely linked.
So yeah, there's a lot of family stuff with that bike. And believe it or not, the bike was built for Chuck's cousin, of all people. And Chuck's cousin got that bike from his wife's grandfather. So there's a lot of family stuff behind that.
And then let's talk about this Misfit. We call this the Misfit 750. The owner of this bike is a fan of the band the Misfits. So we had Chastin do the skull on the tank, and the reason that we wanted the Misfit skull on this tank is because at one time this was a standard bike that the guy rode, and he had taken and painted his own Misfit skull on his old tank, and he's like, man, I want this on here to kind of tie everything back together, and it does. And another thing that, you know, we were talking earlier about it being a generational thing, his dad built the seat or covered the seat. And his dad's an old biker, so bikers, hot rods, racing, it comes together. It's a bigger family than what a lot of people realize, and it's all connected.
I couldn't do what I do without them. So a year ago, we debuted Chuck's first build, the 550 project, at the Great American Motorcycle Show. So fast forward a year later, and Chuck's got 2 customer builds that we displayed. The Misfits bike and the Generation Gap. It takes more than just me to make it happen. It takes Chastin, it takes Chuck, it takes It takes a wide array of people to make somebody's dream and their bike come true. Now, I told y'all it's been 1 year. It's been 1 year. You got that build a year ago. And me and my wife got a gift for you and your wife. Mandy, MB, y'all come on in. So I commissioned Chastin to paint Chuck a sign to hang on his office door, Screamin' Vultures Custom. Now, to me, that just starts another generation or another piece of family history or heritage. One of the things I dearly love is hand craftsmanship. Now that's what Chastin does. Everything he does on my cars and trucks, Chuck's bikes, is all by hand. What we've done is we've made Chuck a Screamin' Vulture custom sign for his office door. How about that? And that is hand lettering. That is something you just can't get anywhere. That's not vinyl, that's not a sticker. That's all handwork from Chastin. So he's got his first sign, a hand-painted sign. What better way to do it? Yeah, we could go and have stickers put on it, but no, man, it should be hand-painted. It should reek at the same quality as the bikes and cars that we build. So it's just, and it's something you just can't get done everywhere. And Chastin, he's the master, man, when it comes to painting.
I appreciate this, y'all. This is cool.
I'm going to tell you something. You know, here again, you can go have stickers made and you can stick stuff. I don't like that. I don't do it. Chastin is a freehand artist. Now, I'm going to say this on TV, and you're not going to believe me, but trust me, it's true. Chastin can paint like the Harley-Davidson truck he did for us, or any pinstriping we do. Chastin can paint one side of the vehicle, and I'm convinced he can walk to the other side, close his eyes, and do a carbon copy on the other side. Chastin is just that good. But everything is freehand. Yeah, maybe he sketches a little out with a grease pencil to start with, but everything is freehand. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. And you'll be hard-pressed to tell the two sides apart when he gets done. The kid's just good, man. He is just good. Back in the day, back in the early 90s, I used a guy named Mark Figno. Mark Figno is world-renowned for what he did. Chastin, as a young fellow, would run into Mark or even follow him around, follow his work. There was a time when we used a guy named Brian Papa. Brian Papa is out of sight. Brian moved out to the other coast, who lives in Seattle, Washington now. He's still a dear friend. We stay in touch. And Chastin is just another up-and-coming artist. But, you know, it's funny. It's a dying trade, but that's the way it was done. Way back when, that's just the way it was done. It's the craftsmanship, the level of art, it just knocks my socks. I pinstripe. I love to do it as relaxation. I'm not good enough to do your car, but I love to do it kind of hobby-wise, and Chastin is a pro at it. He's a pinstriper, a sign painter, and a tattoo artist of all things. That's what he does. That's how he feeds his family. And I think it's so cool. So we're back down at Peach Auction Sales, and this time we're talking about y'all's dealer auction, the late model stuff.
It is. Cars that come in from used car dealers, new car dealers, and title pawns. Some of them get repoed, that type of thing. So,
and this is some good looking stuff, Richard. This is some nice looking late model stuff. I'll be honest with you, I love a big Chrysler. That's a hot selling car.
It is.
The family car, the minivan, the SUV. I seen an SUV out here a while ago. Pickup trucks.
Oh yeah.
And that's every other
Tuesday evening. 6 o'clock. In February, we're talking about maybe going every week.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But we are averaging 60, 70 cars per auction, selling about 65% of them.
Oh wow! So they're good deals.
They are good deals.
If you're selling that percentage, that high percentage, they're good deals. And this is some good looking stuff. There's a Cadillac, pickup trucks, SUVs. Maybe a good way to come up with a good car, a good daily driver.
It is, and then we've got a couple of new car dealers that will bring in cars from 02 to 2013. I mean, you know, late model stuff.
Yeah,
so something here for everybody.
I'm excited about that. Many motorcycles come through?
Occasionally we do. Occasionally we do. We're going to have one in the auction, one or two maybe in the auction late in January.
I'm an old car guy, but I'll be honest with you, I think my daughter needs another car.
Yeah.
And I may come down here shopping for her a car. She's a college student.
Right.
You know.
Daily transportation.
Yeah,
back
this is a good daily driver. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I appreciate you having us down for this. And I can't wait to see what happens. I think it's good stuff. So our piece of trivia for today is this. Did you know that motorcycles' shifters are on the left side and the brakes are on the right side? So when you're riding a motorcycle, you shift the transmission with your left foot and you brake with your right foot. But did you know this? That early 70s, 72 and back, all Harley Davidsons shifted with the right foot, like our 67 Harley. And every other bike shifted with the left foot. And in 73, Harley decided that they would standardize their stuff so that if you rode a Honda, a Ducati, or whatever, you could ride a Harley. So they started in 73 making everything shift on the left foot. Now, all modern bikes shift on the left foot. So if you're a guy that grew up riding a bike that shifted with the left foot, you jump on my old Harley, you're going to hurt yourself. You will brake with the wrong foot and shift with the wrong foot. I've accidentally done it from time to time. But if you're accustomed to these things, and it's not that big of a deal. But modern bikes shift with the left foot, and 72 and older Harley Davidson shifted with the right foot. So you gotta kind of know what you're doing, you know. I enjoy riding the old Harley. I think it's kind of neat you shift the wrong foot. Most people don't realize it. I pull up to the gas pump, they think it's cool, they go all over Harley, they never notice it shifts the wrong foot. We recently, me and my wife, bought another Harley that we're going to rebuild here. It's a 72 and it shifts with the wrong foot. I think it's cool. I don't have a problem riding them. Chuck doesn't have a problem riding them. But I can tell you this, my son, he can't ride it. He gets confused. But he's used to riding the way it is now. So it's just some cool stuff. What'd you bring, trouble with you today?
Hey, Ted. Oh yeah, hey.
How are you?
Doing good. Came by to get that wheel to take out to Joe.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hey, man.
So Ted with the Warrior Golf Camps, you've seen the command vehicle a little bit. He's redone all of his logos, and his concern was can we put new logos on his car? Well, that's not bad. Yeah, it is pretty bad. Absolutely, we can put the new logos on his car. And that group is still, they just keep on helping the veterans. They've actually expanded now to where it's not just Army. They're actually helping firemen, policemen. They've got a new program with service dogs. So now they're providing service dogs for people with conditions and issues that a dog can soothe them and calm them and help them get through daily activities. Yep, you pretty much messed it up. Good job.
I'm good at messing things up, but that's a good thing. I know you're good at fixing things.
So that group, that organization is just growing, and I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud to be involved with them. We actually, when they first started, we actually done their first things for them to get them going. And we're still involved, still working with them. The 57 Bel Air we're building out in the shop, which I'll show you guys in a couple of months. We're building that car to be auctioned off to benefit those guys. So I just think it's a great charity. I think it's a great thing.